really, at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
That's why it's really important to have a plan. Have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this degen?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and D-gentlemen of all ages. We are coming to you with a bit of a special stream tonight. If you have not had your head in the sand, which you probably should do and, like, you know, get off the computer and go touch grass. But we've had a rather large event all kicked off with a Richard Hart tweet and then a rather large and precipitous market crash for eHex. Conversely, pHex also went up because that's part of this equation. But the point of this stream is we wanted to get together, let people know that, yes, we understand the emotions are high. It's scary out there, understandably so. However, don't let the emotions rule you. Don't let the FUD win. And if you have a decision to make, be decisive, but make sure you think it through first. With that being said, I am joined by my lovely panel of one person and my co-host. So first off, my co-host, Nate. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, this has been a hell of a roller coaster. I ain't gonna lie. I got basically shaken up today. Woken up like, you got to get in the community, you got to go help them out. I'm like, what is going on here? Oh my god. And I come down and I've got like 300 plus messages and everyone's panicking seemingly, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, what happened? And we get this big red candle. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. So we've been in the community. We had an emergency chat and everything right off the bat. I mean, if you guys aren't in our Telegram, I don't know what you're doing, because there was a lot of people that needed help. We were able to help them immediately, you know. So yeah, you guys really need to get into that place over there. There it is. Yep, you need to get into there, because that was hours ago we were able to help, and now of course it's stream time. So we are going to be going over quite a few things. Obviously it's all speculation. There's a lot of theories flying around, but I'm going to maybe shine a little bit of a light in the darkness and kind of see where we're going from here. So, Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Bros, I had no idea about anything what was going on with eHex, pHex all day long. I've been fucking busy as shit. I actually just finished a super cool project that I've been working on for a long time. I finally made one of the swords from Berserk for all of my anime fans out there. This is Guts's first duel with Griffith's sword. So I've been welding that shit all day, and it's been a fucking doozy. And then I get this message that, like, oh no, we're like eHex is going to zero and blah de da de da. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is fun. All sorts of this is like one of my thesis for a long time was that, like, anything that I guess that Richard Hart's gonna do, I'm pretty much always wrong. And so, like, this is something I would have never guessed him doing. And so if I did guess anything otherwise, I would have been totally wrong, which is why I think that it's silly when everyone's like, oh, Richard Hart's going to do this, Richard Hart's going to do that, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, bam, throws a fucking monkey wrench in the plans and shit. So I thought it was super, super hilarious today. So weekends be gone. We'll see you guys later. Strong hands. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in the near future, but I haven't done shit so far. But man, those T-shirts are looking kind of juicy. Just
yeah, We'll be talking about everything today. So for the folks at home, the plan for the stream is this. We are going to go ahead and do the rundown of all the Richard Hart tweets, or in my opinion, the ones that are the major ones. And we're going to do a quick market update to show exactly what happened, what went where, and we're going to try to add a little bit of why we think it stopped where it stopped and whatnot. After that, we just want to do a quick reminder for don't be an emotional trader. If you are a fan of the book club, you will probably notice that that has been a common theme throughout that, and along with our flagship shows, because the emotions will get you wrecked. After that, we're going to try to dive into a little bit of some profiles or portfolios that might be happening, such as like if you're an eHex heavy person, if you're a 50-50 person, or if you have had most of your stuff in pHex, in which case it might not be affecting you as much. However, there might be opportunity. And then lastly, we are going to talk about possible moves to make outside of just the initial stuff. And along the way, we're going to try to entertain you. So that is what I got. Gentlemen, any comments before we get going?
I do got something, Zenith. If you guys will notice, right here, we've got a new Telegram chat. This is the book club, t.me/dgen book club. That's where we've got archived all of our episodes where we covered all the books. I'm going to be putting notes in there from the books. I'm going to be putting like summaries. This is where we can like talk about our thoughts and our feelings, where you guys can make suggestions as to what book should we cover next, yada, yada, yada. We'll probably have polls in there. We'll probably have votes and things. We'll probably have all sorts of fun goodies and things. I think I'm going to do a little Telegram premium giveaway in there in the very near future. In fact, I'm going to do that while we are live on stream tonight. So if you guys aren't already in the t.me/dgen book club, then go ahead and get in there now if you want a couple months of free Telegram premium time. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that while one of you guys talks about the next thing. But that's what I wanted to give a quick little shout out to.
Definitely. Speaking of book club, Will, thank you for hosting it on Friday. I've not had a chance yet to go check out the stream, but I imagine it was excellent as always. I am tentatively submitting this as my book for this week. It's going to be Poor Richard's Retirement by Aaron Clary. Unless we get a better suggestion, that is what I'm going to be rolling with. And then additionally, I am coming back from the Hex conference, and I did want to give a shout out to my friend Dr. H. He gave me this book, The Prophet. It is one of his favorites, and I thank him very much for that. And I'm looking forward to possibly having him on book club as well. So only up and up from here, boys.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. All right. Nate, do you have any last stuff? I'm going to start sharing my screen. Tam, there you are. I shot you a message today. We missed you very much in Vegas. However, I hope that you and your family are doing very well, and I'm looking forward to meeting you at the next live event where possible.
Hell yeah. Oh, excuse me. Hell yeah. What are we pulling up right now?
We are pulling up the tweet heard around the world. So this is by Richard Hart Wynn. I'm going to go through it, and then we're going to cover the other ones that happened as well. So, by Richard Hart. Hex is much better than eHex, aka the Hex on Ethereum. Why? Gas fees, liquidity, slippage, common sense. Why would you pay $1,000 to end stake instead of pennies? Why would you want crappier order execution? Buying into a thinner order book with more slippage, getting you less money. And the same applies if you go the other way and sell. How are you saving people from gas fees if they have to end stake on 2 chains instead of 1? Every start stake, end stake, or swap on the Ethereum chain robs users of money because of the abusively expensive gas fees, and the real bull run hasn't even started. Imagine how high the fees on Ethereum might get. That money would have went to the Hex network participants instead of the ETH validators. What if all new buyers chose Hex instead of eHex? What if all new buyers chose Hex instead of splitting their energy? I've told you this before, but likely some of you don't listen so well, so I'm telling you again. Hex is the Hex on PulseChain. The only part that sucks about saying this is that while I told you that you should be very careful about selling one chain for the other, because if you choose wrong, the market will punish you. Probably some people chose wrong. PulseChain was invented to make the world a better place, and it is. So there you go. Wow. That is tweet number 1.
So let's kind of break that down a little bit, because there's some gems in there, right?
There's
so number 1, yeah. So number 1, we've got a couple $100 million of ETH that has been sent to what was it, Curve, I believe he sent it to, and he's getting he is yielding it, and he's getting ETH as a yield, and he's bridging it over into PulseChain like a vampire, right? He's sucking the ETH, the money, the liquidity out of Ethereum and bringing it over to PulseChain. So when you're sitting here and he's talking about like, oh, okay, well, that money would have went to the Hex network participants instead of the ETH validators, right? What he's saying is, hey, and by the way, he said this way early during PulseChain launch, where the pHex is not pHex, it is Hex. The eHex is Ethereum Hex. That's eHex. So he's already made that that statement. However, when he's talking over here about he wants all the money to go to PulseChain. So if you're going to be transacting and buying Hex or whatever, he doesn't want it to be on Ethereum. He wants it to be on PulseChain.
Sounds good. Will, what you
Opinion?
I think that he sort of did what a lot of people call the soft FUD for eHex a long time ago, where he basically said like, "Hey, PulseChain is pretty cool," but like I think this is totally in line with his brand, and he's not like saying eHex bad, go zero, blah 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 blah, like fuck all you guys who got eHex. He's saying like, "Hey, this is a cool thing that I made, and I made this cool thing for this specific reason, and now this specific reason is applicable on this cool thing that I have, and so this is the cool thing that I've made." Like I think that's more or less what he's saying.
I definitely would agree. One of the big takeaways from here is that Richard Hart is just straight up planting the flag, and he's saying that whenever you hear him or anyone else talk about Hex, they're talking about the one on PulseChain. We're no longer trying to do the whole eHex, pHex thing. This is something we talked about in the call earlier today, which is that eHex is going to start to become referred to as eHex instead of the regular Hex, kind of in the same way it's like the Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum Classic. The whole reason that Richard created PulseChain was to make Hex better. And again, exactly like he said here, gas fees, liquidity, and slippage are some of the major ones, along with free speech and whatnot, because of, just remember, you can't even buy Hex on Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange, let alone any of the centralized exchanges. So, yeah, this is the first of one of the few tweets we're going to get into here. All right. Any others before I move on to the next?
No, let's keep going.
By the way, thank you, Mrs. Producer. I forgot to mention it. This stream, we are definitely trying to pull up as many chats, comments, and questions as we possibly can. So please get in there. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking. We're going to try to respond as much as we possibly can. The point is that this is a community stream because we are a community and we're all going to make it together. So,
hell yeah.
Exactly. With that said, let's go on to numero dos. This is the little video compilation that he put together. So I'm going to start it from the beginning. Please let me know. Is it coming through? Are we good?
I cannot hear anything.
I mean, you got to play it first before we can even know if it's.
I was playing it for a little bit, although I think I might have some settings jacked up on my end. Tell you what.
We do it live, folks. That's okay.
That we do. I'll put it this way. I have my audio set up so that my Chrome goes to my headphones instead of the stream output. But I'll tell you this. This is a video compilation of Richard for just 2.5 minutes straight telling people that he wishes that Hex would be valuable on both Ethereum and PulseChain. But he thinks that eventually PulseChain is going to be deemed the more valuable one. This is effectively, as we talked about earlier, Richard providing the receipts for what he's been talking about, trying to let folks know that this is not new information. He's been saying it the whole time. And that we've kind of just arrived at this just now. And as he says, the market has declared that pHex is going to be the more valuable one. So,
that's what I think as well.
For sure. This has been a hot debate in our community for a long time. Like, if you remember back when we had the launch of PulseChain, we had Ethereum Hex drop, and then we had a second drop after there was a large community infighting event where people were trying to determine which one's better and ended up fudding eHex, in my opinion, a little unnecessarily. But that was one of those events. All right, tell you what, I'll go on to this next one. So, not quite a victory lap, but looking at the PulseChain side of things, here's what we got from Richard Hart. Hex went up 57% today, low to high, wick to wick, up 5.3x in 7 months. Now, ask yourself why so many Bitcoin kids are lying about it. I guess when they have no reputation to defend, so lying costs them less. Why pseudo-intellectuals lie when the truth is so glaringly obvious? Hexicans move their activity to a superior chain with superior fees, superior liquidity, superior speed, and they're doing better because of it. Many dollars not given to an Ethereum validator is many dollars that stay in the hands of Hexicans. Imagine trying to frame Hexicans' great success as a failure. More people in Bitcoin and Ethereum should learn from it as a recipe for success. The more load moved to PulseChain from Ethereum, the lower the ETH fees can be. Not financial advice. Past performance is no guarantee of future. Report the imposters below with their fake giveaways, rewards, and voting. And then we got 2 pictures. We have the first one in the chart showing that it's up about 5.3x. And then lastly, we have the Go Pulse dashboard showing what we got today. Speaking of which, I have the Go dashboard pulled up right now.
Yeah.
And Hex is even sitting a little bit higher than Richard initially showed there.
So when you're kind of reading between the lines of what it was, he's kind of saying, kind of like, what's the sentiment that he's talking about, right? It's feeling a little bit like he's already taken a victory lap, as you said, but as much of a victory lap, like, why would he be taking that? Does he know something is about to happen?
It's possible.
Richard knows a lot of. Richard knows all the things that Richard knows, and we probably won't ever know. I don't know. Are you like looking for like a speculative play or something?
Like speculative little play.
Yeah.
This might be like he's loading, right, and able to fire a gun. You must first load the bullets in.
Yeah.
This would be one of those bullets he's loading in. He's already saying, "Hey guys, you might want to be getting into the superior place as of right now, because maybe something is about to take off." I mean, look at what the Bitcoin people and the Ethereum people have been talking about. They've been talking about how bad hexagons are, that they're not going to make it or whatever, right? I don't know.
We're not gonna make it.
Sorry. If you go on Twitter right now, I think that hexagons is trending. At least it's showing up for me. Half of it's folks trying to figure out what the hell's going on and what to do, and the other half is people taking a dunk on the hex community. So don't let that get you, and don't let the infighting spread out from here. Because just remember, there's like Moonpilled Rational Optics is saying, there's a lot of blood in the streets of Hexco right now. If you're an eHex heavy holder, it's a rough day. And you should probably figure out what the game plan is. Whether you think we're going lower, or we're going to level off, or we might even get a bounce back. There's options. You got to figure out which one you think is most likely based on your research and your gut ultimately. But that's what we got. As far as what Richard is saying with the tweets, it would be foolish not to think that Richard doesn't want his project to succeed. Obviously, he wants PulseChain and Hex to do well. What that means is that the PulseChain that's on Hex, the newest project, is the one that he would reasonably want to succeed the most, because so much time, energy, and attention has been spent on it for so long that letting all of that go would just be a waste of all that effort and like his funds, SAC funds, community goodwill, and interest. So again, if the narrative is that Richard is going for glory, the best glory and the most gains could be had here, which is understandable. Now, obviously, eHex is kind of a little bit of like the first child. So one of the takes I've seen is that this is kind of strangling your firstborn in the crib. And it's like, I don't know about that, because eHex has done a lot of great things for a lot of people. And keep in mind that eHex was the thing that got forked over to PulseChain. So the Hex that exists now only exists because of everything that has happened on the previous eHex version. I know that there has been a lot of time since the PulseChain launch, and many people have been DCAing into either of the projects. So just saying that this shouldn't be a big deal because there was a fork doesn't take into account all the stuff that's happened since then. However, if you go to the original point of that, which is that all of the long-term stakes got carried over, so as long as you didn't emergency unstake them, that should already exist on PulseChain. It's kind of one of those things where you got to trick your brain is going to look at something and say, I lost this because I see the red candle, I see the numbers are down, but you got to remind yourself that you also had the same exact thing copied over for you. So you didn't technically lose, but based on what you've had just now, this one has been dropping. So yeah, it does feel like you have lost a lot. And then again, to anybody that has put money into the system since the launch of PulseChain, yes, they technically are down on this eHex drop. So it really sucks. It really does.
And here's the thing about that, right? So as of right now with these tweets, he's building momentum, right? And you can tell that what he did with this whole eHex thing is this is like a violent shakeout, right? I want to say that he's been like, hey, move over to PulseChain. Hey, move over to PulseChain. Hey, move over to PulseChain. He's been saying it, but at this point, he's finally just freaking grabbing your shoulders and shaking the hell out of you, saying, "Get the PulseChain, you idiots."
Yeah,
right.
Cassie Kelly in the comments. This basically sounds like he's trying to force people to listen to him and make what he considered to be the smarter move. That's exactly what you had said, Nate. And I again, I'm not going to speculate on what Richard Hart is trying to do. It certainly could be interpreted that way. I won't put any I will not discount it at all. It's just I don't know. I'm not selling any eHex. None of that shit went away for me. No, sir. All my shit's staked out anyway, so it's like I can't sell. No problemos. Stake it
Fair
all,
enough.
don't think. Peanut brain, baby. That's my approach, anyways. I could be wrong though. I could be very wrong. I've been very wrong before. I've lost
If
a lot of
we've-
money.
You've learned through losing a lot of money, and I'd argue that most investors
Hopefully.
and traders have to learn that way a bit. But to your point, when they do studies about like who some of the best investors and traders are, it's sometimes dead people that haven't touched their accounts in 30 years and just let that thing sit in the S&P 500 and go up. So at the end of the day, sometimes not making a move might be the best move. All right, I'm going to hit the chats real quick just so we can catch up because it looks like there's a good bit in here. And I'm glad because I'm glad to have a lot of eyeballs. We thank you for your attention, but at the same time, we want to bring this as a place to come together. So, Mrs. Producer, if you don't mind, all the starred comments, I will read them out.
She's just finishing up now. Uh-oh.
Fair enough. We have.
Looks like Will accidentally pushed a button there.
I think we might have just rugged Will. Okay, we'll see if we can get him back. But shout out to Taylor.
I
Good
hit
to
the
see
wrong
you.
button. Apologies.
That's what we thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
All
tried
right.
flipping tabs.
We got Taylor telling us to hang loose. Much appreciated. Moonpill Rational Optics. Shout out to you, brother. Good to see you in here. He says it's all going to zero. LOL for some. Maybe not for others. Centurion, good to see you. Good afternoon, D-Gens, he says. We got Russ with, can anyone defib my eHex stakes? We'll see, but if we pump too much electricity, we might crash the entire blockchain, so won't hit that one too hard. Luna C Point says, thanks for the chat, guys. Absolutely. We're here to chat with you, and we thank you for showing up and chatting with us. We got Bradley Langan for one of my favorite comments early on, which is the round table looks more like a triangle tonight. So I hit him back up and said, this is the round triangle.
You're goddamn right, son. You're goddamn right.
Tam, one of the best cheerleaders in the space. Thank you for showing up. Glad to have you. To be honest, I bet the community could really use someone like you right now, just to remind everybody to stay positive and not do anything foolish. So
100%.
Glad to see you in here, and thank you for everything you do, by the way.
Yes, thank you, Tam.
Bradley coming back in. Gas fees is just reflecting real life. It's an allegory. Don't you see Vitalik is a poet?
That one went over my head. I don't get it.
I think it also went over mine as well. Gas fees is reflecting real life. Oh, he probably just saying that gas in real life is going up, so gas on Ethereum is going up. Maybe like a...
I don't know. Sorry, Bradley, but I'm too stupid for this.
Sorry, boss. You stumped us.
You stumped us.
Ramon Carrillo.
My boy. Hell yeah.
This is RH's final warning that he is about to pump things on PulseChain. That is something I've heard a lot. I think Nate might be a little more keen on that one than I am, but we'll definitely talk about that at some point. And then do we have any more? Bradley back again. RH better win the case if he is forcing people to listen. Not saying I think he won't, but just trying to play devil's advocate. I have a little bit of hot information for you actually on that. So over the weekend at the PulseChain tour in Las Vegas, I got a chance to talk to one of my good friends. He goes by Nuclear Herbs on Twitter. He's trying to remain a little bit anonymous, but he is actually a lawyer himself, and he had a great interview with me talking about the RH case. So right now we have the October trial date set. However, we know that RH's legal team sent some stuff back to the courts in January. Additionally, there was an amicus brief filed by Crypto Coffee and, Kinetics. I have been blanking on his name all week, and I finally figured it out. So they submitted an amicus brief, which is 50,000 people came together to provide context to the judge running the case. That's what amicus briefs do. They provide context to the judges who touch grass a lot more than us, so we can let them know kind of what's going on around this. They got 50,000 people together to sign the petition to say, hey, Richard Hart did not scam us, he did not defraud us, and we like the project. So that is going on that. Additionally, rumor has it that on April 8th, Richard's team will be filing a motion to dismiss. If everything goes according to plan, that might be the last action needed for the court to look at everything going on and say, all right, this looks like it's bogus. They made a good reason why, and we're pretty much just going to side with them. So that's what we got going on there.
I've got a quick total non sequitur. I've put in the chat t.me/DGen Book Club. If you guys click that link, it will bring you into the DGen Book Club channel. In 5 minutes, there will be 1 3-month premium account being given away to a random member. So far, we have 11 members in the book club. Of the 11, 3 of them are already premium members, is I think what the Telegram was telling me. So if you guys want 3 months of free premium, hop on into that DGen Book Club channel, and you were gonna it's gonna announce the winner here. And once it announces it live here in about 4 minutes, then I will bring it back to the chat and we will let someone know. So somebody somewhere is getting a free 3 months of Telegram Premium, where you can use 3 emojis and you can download custom emojis and you can do all sorts of fun, cool stuff. So
much appreciated. Do that.
Yep.
All right, back to comments. They keep building
Yes.
up. I want to get through
Amicus
these as
brief.
much as I can.
Holy
before we-
shit! Yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah, keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
I think eHex is the college kid getting cut off dad's insurance plan, not a baby in a crib. That is probably a better analogy, Centurion. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, next up, Ramon. He says, I'm licking my eHex wounds, but this is bullish as fuck, boys and girls. I think it is. I think to be honest, a lot of Richard Hart tweets end up just being straight gas on the fire for whatever's going on. And chances are, this is no different.
Ramon's got a really good mindset too. He's kind of reading between the lines. I can tell.
You guys should meet Ramon. Ramon is super fun.
Looking forward
Shout
to
out
it.
to
I hope to
Ramon.
meet everybody in here one day. This event over the weekend was a blast, and I cannot wait till we can start throwing our own. All right, I think we got No Money Mike. Yes. Says, my buddy is not a fan of Richard Hart, but he bought when I told him about the tweet. That's right. I mean, we tell people to buy in on red candles, and mother of God,
There's
that was a
some
red
fucking
candle.
candles.
Dude,
Yeah.
this reminds. I don't know if anybody else got this, and maybe everyone here in the chat remembers it too. But this reminds me of the depression of the bear market.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
People be sad, bro. People be
People
sad.
are vocal
be
about
selling.
it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as soon as you get those big red candles, we're like, yay, buy more.
That's what I'm thinking. I like it. I don't like it as much as I like PHEX, but I still like it. And now that it's fucking fire sale, it's like, oh shit, I hope it lasts till next payday.
Go. Awesome. We got
Cat's
Cat's Kitchen saying, thanks for the stream, guys. Thank you for showing up. Really appreciate it. Hope
Hell
everyone
yeah.
is doing well out there. And one more. You're only at a loss if you sell. Dumpers dumped on themselves today. This is more true than you could possibly know. I think it's Warren Buffett is one of the guys who said during the 2008 recession, people asked him like, oh, how do you feel losing $1 billion today? And he says, I didn't lose anything. I didn't sell. So as long as you don't sell your positions, you don't have a taxable event, and you don't realize losses. Granted, if you think that we're going to go to the moon this year, which understandably we might, having a taxable event here might help offset some gains. However, that's only if you think the move that you're making is worthwhile. Don't just move stuff around just to harvest tax losses if you don't have a game plan outside of that.
We got Antoine in the chats too. I'm noticing Antoine. Good stuff, Antoine. I thought eHex was the golden egg. I'm in too much to switch with these ratios. I'm not sure entirely. I might have read that. I might have. And here I thought eHex blah, blah, was the golden egg. I'm in too much to switch with these ratios. Well, you know what? If you like it, buy more. If you don't like it, don't buy more. If you really don't like it, sell. It is what it is.
There's been a couple of people in the chat who's kind of in this situation. I know West was one of them, where he's like, okay, so what should I do here? And you can do a couple of things. I'm going to give you some options, guys. All right. You can go ahead and just hold it. Right. It'll probably go up more than likely. Right. Is it going to go back up even further? Yeah, it'll probably be fine. The thing that I'm kind of looking at though is that there's the possibility that, Richard Hart basically just straight up said that he's not putting money into eHex. So don't expect that to happen. However, that also says that he's got a direct plan. He wants to put money into whatever's on PulseChain right now, aka PHEX, right? The real hex. So it might not be a terrible idea to de-risk some, like a percentage, maybe 50% or whatever, into the PulseChain side, maybe some PulseX, PHEX, just to not miss the pump, because Richard Hart is he's fueling up the rocket right now, and he's saying, hey, the countdown is here real soon here.
Definitely. All right. So I would like to move into our next scheduled topic, which is the emotional trading. I want to softball this over to Will and say, can you give the folks at home the reason why emotional trading is bad, and why more than ever, now is probably not the time to do that?
Yeah, so emotional decision making is like all fight or flight response. It's all like it's all like emergency stuff. And when you're dealing with finances and trading, very little of it is actually like real emergency. It's all things that our brain tricks us into thinking is an emergency. And so when you're acting under emergency impulses, you're going to do extreme things. And when you're doing extreme things, like odds are like you have a higher potential to fuck up a logical decision when you're making it emotionally rather than when you're making it rationally. So that's the long and short of that's the long and short of it.
Definitely. And then I think this goes two ways today. So number one, obviously, eHex dropped 50%. That is the largest emotional event in my opinion. But conversely, the other half is that eHex pumped about 25% as well, which is you have two different fears. One is the fear of losing something that is losing something that is existing, aka
Yes.
your eHex bag, and the other one is potentially missing the boat on pHex or just Hex now. So either way, try to like the emotions can get a hold of you. I understand, especially when you have the possibility of losing literally half the value of an entire investment. That is a lot. Absolutely going to grant it to you. So now that we know that the emotional investing is bad, what are you going to do about it? What's the way to get over this?
Oh man, not do it. Or
I
like
get
if
that. I was
so
going to say go touch grass. That was my suggestion.
yeah, so
Get off Twitter.
So that's a great start. Like if you're getting your information from people that you know are going to rile you up, then it's like, maybe you shouldn't be. If you know that getting riled up is bad when you're going to make money decisions, and you're getting all your information from people who rile you up, good or bad, right? Then it's like I know that I'm about to go run a marathon, and there's this dude handing out like free Snickers bars. Like, should I take the Snickers bars from the guy, or should I like go and do the better thing and like, I don't know, eat some spaghetti and bread or something and carb up before this crazy crazy thing. So like touching grass is an excellent solution because it's like you're avoiding that Snickers bar right before the marathon. If you know there's this thing that has a high likelihood of fucking you up, you should probably not do it. What was the question again?
We getting over
What?
the emotional trading. I'll kick it
Oh.
over to Nate.
Yeah,
So-
go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, the emotion. I actually technically kind of lost out on not being emotional while trading because I was watching the red candle go down. I immediately sold because I was like, shit. So I immediately sold back into pHex, right?
Mhm.
But as I'm watching it go down, I'm looking around. I'm going through lots of different things, lots of sources, putting it all together. I'm like, oh, we've just hit like meme category now. This is like scratch your bet category.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yes.
severely cheap. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh, I'm buying it back. But I was like, okay, wait, I want to find the bottom first. And as I found the bottom, as I was saying that, literally in our chats, as I was typing to people, I'm gonna wait for a bottom. Turns out that was the bottom, and it was like just a few seconds later, it bumped back up from 0.0016 to 0.0046. And I was like, because I wanted to FOMO into that red candle, all my money, but I was like, here, let me be mid curve over here and wait it out a little bit. And I ended up losing out on an automatic, like what would that have been, like a 3x or whatever?
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Oh,
Hey,
well.
I still bought back in though, and my overall eHex bag, I got 33% more coins. So
Fuck yeah, bro.
It's hard to argue against that. My question for you guys though is this: what is your basis for decision making when it comes to this time frame of there's an event that happened? I know I need to probably come to some sort of conclusion. Like, what time frame do you try to aim for, and how do you make this decision yourself?
I'll make it
Number one.
immediately. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Nate.
I mean, you do got a point on that, but number one, you need information. So in my case, me trading out, of eHex, I had a group of friends who had already been hours into making all the decisions, and they told me to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm out then. So then I switched. That's called trust. But you need to make sure you trust the people who are saying that. It's not an influencer, okay? Someone who's like, oh, buy my bags. It's not gonna be that. The other thing is, after I did that, I was looking to see what the heck was going on, gathering information. I'm not sitting there FOMOing and telling people, get the fuck out, no. Which a lot of people were wondering what to do. But yeah, you need to gather information, guys, before you start making these decisions, which actually kind of burnt me a little bit as far as the red candle goes.
Will, it sounds like you have a bit of a different opinion on how you make these decisions. What you
So
got?
when it's coming to selling, I don't sell unless I'm up. I'm going to ride it to zero, or I'm going to sell at a profit. It's just that simple. Like all the money that we throw into or all the money that I throw into crypto is money that I can throw away, right? And so it's like I throw it at it, and if it does great, awesome. And if it does terrible, well, see ya. Maybe I'll buy more, like what Nate was saying, when it turns into a lottery ticket. I think that Hex is going to do better than Zen. So if I'm buying Zen, perhaps I should buy some Hex too. No, I didn't. I haven't. I don't. Well, no, I do have. I think I have some PZen somewhere. That's like their little silly ass lottery scratcher. But the point remains, like what Nate was saying about Hex now being like a meme category. It's like, ooh, this is fun. This is fire sale time. And it shot up. And like there's like the massive dip, then tiny the green candle, then another dip, like to level it out. And it's finding its floor or whatever right now. But it's like I make my decisions based on like a fuck it scenario where it's just like, fuck it, I'm all in, back up the dump truck, power play, ready, set, go. And it either works or it doesn't. And it's like, it's all funny money anyways. All this ones and zeros, it's not real. It's all fake. So it's like, what's the, like, might as well have some fun with it, right? And I'm not going to
so
I'm at a loss.
I want to unpack that a little bit more. So the underlying premise of what you talked about right there is something that I think that we all talk about on the channel a good bit, which is that all the money that we've put into crypto is money that we're okay parting with. It is purely expendable income. However, this is a potential investment. So we're not just like totally disregarding it. We always want to do the best and make the best decisions for it. However, at the end of the day, if we lose this money and literally everything goes to zero, we're going to be fine. And that's okay. That is a decision and a strategy that we've made here to help detach the emotion from everything going on. Because if you come into this believing that I'm never getting this back anyways, anything that does come back is just gravy, then that is one of the ways that you can deconnect that emotional attachment to it and try to take that step back and look at the 10,000 foot view of the entire portfolio, your entire life, and the strategy behind combining how you make that portfolio work best for your life.
Yep. Like I'm still when I go ahead, Nate.
Nate is muted. I think he had something to say.
Oh no. I'm talking with Mrs. Producer over here, highlighting a few things. There's a few comments that I would like to comment on. And
absolutely, go for it.
Okay, right on. Let's start with Punk Master Hex. So eHex is the closest to the door, easiest to buy. All right. ETH gas fees being fixed will help staking. Hart's Law brings eHex with pHex regardless, and I like the stock. So yeah, during the call in the Telegram chat, I was talking about this. And in fact, it was just like 2 or 3 days ago, I was in another chat talking about, it was with Proof of No Work. I was talking with him about how eHex is kind of the main onboarding tool for Hex. Because once Richard starts pumping the heck out of PulseChain Hex, right? People are going to be looking at that saying, oh, look at that Hex thing. Let me look for it. And of course, people are going to be on Ethereum, right? Because that's where all the money is at. That's where everybody, all the normies are at, right? And so then they're going to be, oh, there's Hex on Ethereum. Cool. And they're going to buy into there. And then that's when they're going to start going down the rabbit trail of like, oh, wait, I could go over to PulseChain. It's so much better, right? So eHex is going to be the best onboarding tool. And that's kind of out of the with today. That's kind of thrown out the window. And so what I'm trying to figure out now is going to be like, what's the onboarding tool? Now, I do believe because PulseChain is an L1, I do think that it will maybe PulseX. Yeah, because Uniswap. Yeah, so I think Pulse and PulseX will definitely be put on exchanges. And I think the majority of retail people are going to be on exchanges, right? And they're just going to sit there. So that's an on-ramp into the PulseChain system technically. But I'm thinking the only real path that we have anymore about getting people onboarded into PulseChain and buying Hex and all that is going to be through us. It's going to be through the community saying, hey, you know, you can onboard here. And able to do that, we need an easier way to onboard rather than just like bridging. People are scared of bridging. People don't understand bridging. It's really hard. And if you do make a bridge, it needs to be like, oh, just follow the green button, click, 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 right? I know that crypto people want it to be as like, oh, well, they need to learn and do their own research and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not how you onboard people. Okay. You onboard people by saying, yeah, all you do is you go click on a bunch of buttons and put in your email and stuff and then make a password. And then you simply click the buy button. All right. That's how you get people in. So for anybody in this space who's sitting there like, oh, well, you need to, you know, have your keys, your wallet, you know, blah, blah. We shouldn't be focusing on that anymore. That needs to be us teaching is when somebody wants to learn about that. What we need now is ease of use. Okay. Make it as least scary as possible. And then the other one was Centurions, right? So is there any other ecosystem that can be affected as much as Richard Hart's ecosystem with one tweet, right? Yeah, actually, Vitalik in Ethereum. As soon as, but like it's actually, so if you go back to the Dan Kuhn upgrade when he brought up that whole roadmap thing, he brought that up literally because Bitcoin was taking off compared to Ethereum. And people were starting to leave Ethereum. You could actually watch it on the charts. People were leaving Ethereum to go to Bitcoin. And he knew that was a bad idea, especially with Solana doing what Solana was doing, because that's right in the middle when Solana was taking the fuck off. And so then he's like, oh, by the way, the Dan Kuhn upgrade is going to be coming out. And then all of a sudden, oh, there goes ETH. It starts pumping like wild. It's just part of the game, man. It's just part of the game.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. I think we have an interesting chat here. I want to pull it up so that we can chew on it together.
Do it.
And really mull it over. All right, it is by Marcelo MJ. That is the one. Whatever happens to eHex will happen to other Richard Hart coins. Richard Hart just shit on the hard work that Alex is building on top of Hex. Today, Richard Hart's using the excuse of the gas fees to kill eHex.
I got this. So, all right, check this out. Now, Marcel, I'm assuming you have quite a bit of eHex yourself. Okay, I want you to understand something. One of the first, I am completely out of dry powder now, entirely. Why? Because I saw what happened to Icosa and Hedron, eHicosa and eHicosa, eHedron, and I was just like, whoa, that is way too cheap to not buy. And I used every last little penny I had and threw it into that. Why? Alex has already been talking about how, hey, he wants to combine the E side with the P side, so that way we can just stake it. Okay. The play right now is to buy the cheapest one. All right. That's currently what's going on. So with the EI and the fact that eIcosa and eHedron dumped like that tells me nobody knows this. Why are you selling that? That doesn't make sense. Especially when, I mean, you guys, you got to pay attention. Okay. Watch our streams. Get in our chat. Okay. This is how you save yourself. Okay. And the thing is with RH shitting on eHex, it's because he's been saying for a while that he prefers pHex. That video that unfortunately we couldn't play because of sound issues. That was him saying, I would prefer it if pHex was the deal. Why? Because it is the main L1. Since the very beginning, since before PulseChain even launched, he's been saying that the issue is gas fees. The issue is gas fees. Not only that, but then you also have bonuses like it works better, basically, right? It's faster. Okay. And this is the final, as I said at the very beginning, he's grabbing you by the shoulders and he's shaking you going, get out. I'm leaving a moon bag for eHex. for people to play in, but it's become like remember like what I said there. It's become meme status now. Okay? It's a pump and dump place where people are just going to go and they're going to be like, "Oh, look at this. Hex, yay, up and down, up and down." It's a scratcher bet now. Okay? He has stated he wants PulseChain, and I agree with him.
So I'm going to Marcelo, I appreciate the comment, but I'm going to push back on you on this one. So I think gas fees is a very real thing. And to be honest, I don't think Richard Hart Richard Hart is not the reason for the movement of the market. He's the reason that some light bulbs might have clicked in people's brains. However, at the end of the day, it relies on individuals pushing the green and red buttons to buy and sell whatever they have. Hundreds, if not millions of people tweet about this stuff every day, but none of those, I will admit, none of them carry the same weight as Richard Hart. However, none of those people influence the market on any given individual basis up and down because it's still everyone making that decision. Gas fees, in my opinion, do matter because the reason why I like Hex in particular is that it has a use case. It is the certificate of deposit, and we want to use it as such. If the cost of using a product is so high that it eliminates all of the upside of using that product, then you've just eliminated the use case. So it's understandable that gas fees on Ethereum causing people to lose a bit of interest in using the product is a very legitimate reason, in my opinion. Now, I'll absolutely give Alex some shout out here and a lot of credit for all the work that he does with I'm assuming this is the Alex that does the Hedron and Icosa stuff. Building projects is hard, and building good projects is damn hard, as I'm sure you've heard me say many times. But the point is this, is that there is opportunity elsewhere. It sucks for Alex and people that like Alex's products. Yes, for sure. I will 100% admit that. And even for people like myself who like the Maximus products, because the entire reason that I like the Maximus products is because I thought that was the way to solve some of the gas fees on Ethereum. This is probably not going to have a lot of good implication for those products moving forward because it's going to be pulling a lot of liquidity to PulseChain. So, I mean, is Richard Hart killing this? No. Is he a catalyst? Absolutely. People listen to him. People are hungry for what he has to say. But at the end of the day, it does go back to the market makes its decisions based on who is buying and selling. That's what I got by it.
Yeah, and then Rough Stuff, he also has a comment here. So actually, funny thing, you can swap eHex on PulseChain, which costs nothing, right? Well, it costs pennies on PulseChain, which is nice.
Much
Isn't
less,
the whole
we'll put it
reason
that way.
Yeah, a lot less. Isn't the whole reason for PulseChain to provide liquidity to Ethereum-based tokens and save on gas? No, it is the opposite. It is actually, so yes, you're saving on gas, but you're on the L1 of PulseChain. PulseChain is trying to provide what Ethereum already does, only better in every single category. So you don't, and if you look at what Richard is doing, he's pulling liquidity off of Ethereum to put it on PulseChain. Okay, he wants people on PulseChain. That's what he's trying to do. The fact is, and he even said it in the tweet, right? Why are you swapping around eHex, giving the ETH validators money? Why are you doing that? Can't you be swapping it around on PulseChain instead, giving the PulseChain validators money instead? Right? That right there. He's pulling everything off of Ethereum. He doesn't like Ethereum. He's just like with the rest of us, he's upset at Ethereum. The gas is absolutely crazy. And how many times is it? How many times is it that in our chat we're saying literally fuck Ethereum, and then we're showing all these ways to get around Ethereum and just not use it at all? I have not used Ethereum in months, dude. Oh my gosh. And the one time I had to go back to using it because of this one particular meme coin, I saw that $50 gas fee, and it's just, it hurt. It hurt to pay that because I'm so used to Polymatic, freaking Avalanche, Phantom, PulseChain, and there's just like pennies, maybe $1 if I'm unlucky.
To double tap the...
Sorry. Go right ahead.
I was going to say, double tap the idea here that PulseChain exists to provide liquidity for Ethereum-based tokens. I disagree with that. The point of PulseChain was to make Hex better. it's not necessarily the eHex token as we've seen now, but it's more of the token or the idea behind it, which is the immutable code that runs Hex. It's the concept of locking up cryptocurrency, delayed gratification to get those gains back. It's not necessarily to provide liquidity for Ethereum-based tokens, because there's a lot of Ethereum-based tokens, and I can guarantee you, I'd bet, well, obviously everything got copied over on the fork. However, I'd say that 90% or more of those tokens do not effectively exist on PulseChain. And we've seen that people have an interest in building on PulseChain itself, i.e. like Liquid Loans, Earn Protocol, Power City, all those guys. They're building on PulseChain for a reason. And that's because they want to be on PulseChain. If they wanted to be on Ethereum, they'd be over on Ethereum. There are advantages and disadvantages to every system. Disadvantage to PulseChain is that it's smaller, it's newer, and there's not a whole lot of stuff over here. Major advantage is that it has a lot faster throughput, a lot lower gas fees, and I'd argue it has one of the most active and enthusiastic communities that's out there. So to answer your question, no, PulseChain doesn't exist to provide liquidity for Ethereum tokens. It exists to make Hex better. All right, I'll get on that one. Do we have any other comments we want to pull up before moving on to some other stuff?
Yeah, Ramon says Ethereum sucks.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm not too loud, am I?
No, you're good. You're good. All right. So
Okay.
we covered the story of what's going on. We covered the idea of emotionality and ways that you can detach yourself, and also don't make emotional moves. I want to talk about 3 different like imaginary people. I want to talk about somebody who was only an eHex, someone that did a 50-50 split, and someone that has converted all of their stuff to pHex. I'm going to knock out the pHex one real quick because that's actually me. I am one of the people that converted all of my eHex to pHex a while ago, and unfortunately, I missed out on some opportunity, such as when we had the parity event where eHex and pHex went 1-to-1. Because I was already on one side, I missed out on all the gains over there. That's my burden to bear, and I've been dealing with it. We'll figure it out. Alternatively, times like this, I'm unaffected, and I understand where the people that are not like me are affected. We want to help you guys as much as possible and help you think through the moves. But as far as the pHex heavy people, this kind of is actually a good day, which is weird to say when so many other people are freaking out and possibly losing out on something. But if you've been pHex heavy and you've been staking a ton on pHex, congratulations. Today was actually your day to win. So that's what we got. Now I want to bring the boys back in here for this one. So as far as the people that were split 50-50, on one side, we saw eHex drop about 50%, and conversely, we saw pHex rise about 25%. Overall, if you were a 50-50 split, that means that you're down about 25% today on Hex alone between both of them. So what are possible moves that you could make to either... Well, I guess the question comes down now. Do you need to make a move now? Because what happens now might not be what's going on in the future. So we're not going to like full on crystal ball it here, but what do you guys think is the best move moving forward for someone that's like 50-50?
I don't know.
Well,
Bro, I don't know what the fuck the best move is. What a silly question. Now, I know what a bad move is. A bad move,
what's the bad move?
Is to sell if you're at a loss and to lock that loss in.
all right. Well, I'll push back
Time
a
is
little
on
bit
your
on that
side.
one.
If time is on your side. Go ahead, Nick.
I would push back a little bit on that one. Okay. But the reason being is because you do need to have a little bit of kind of calmly take a step back, look at things, because you got time now. Okay. And then think, all right, so Richard, for the most part, has kind of said, I'm not going to be putting SAC funds into eHex. Okay. Well, if you're not going to be doing that, now as an investor, I have to know that right there means that he is going to be putting it into those SAC funds into the PulseChain side of things. Okay. Maybe, but I would much rather have a higher percentage. Maybe he's going to do something rather than a lower percentage, like almost guarantee that he's not going to. And so what I would, now I'm not saying sit there and 100% of all your eHex, take it for a loss and throw it into pHex, right? That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But risk management. All right. Based on the information you're kind of getting, it might be a good idea to take some of that. Okay. And move it over to pHex. fully disclosed, I took 100% of my eHex, liquid eHex, out and switched it to pHex. Here's the thing. I took that same amount of pHex that I had and 100% put it back into eHex at the low. Okay? I don't think that eHex is going to die. But I do think that the PulseChain side of things is going to jump higher. And like I said, scratchers, guys. So far, all of my scratchers that I've taken out, except with the exception of 2 of them, have multi-X'd. Okay? At this point, I'm able to pick scratchers pretty decently well. My number one thing for scratchers is, holy hell, how cheap is it? And I'm telling you right now, eHex is extremely cheap. So I would put a little bit, maybe move a little bit of your eHex into pHex, and then leave that last little bit as like a moon bag. Okay, I think it's going to go higher, but I also think you could technically possibly get more gains with PulseChain's side. Again, not financial advice. You guys click the button. I'm just giving my take and what my plan is. You need to stick to your plans, by the way, too. If you decide, you know what, I'm gonna do what Nate said. I think that's a good idea. You need to stick to that. You need to hold strong. Keep getting information, guys.
I'm going to be the human calculator here a little bit and bring in some numbers into this. So hypothetically, if you had $200 split perfectly 50-50 between eHex and pHex today, then that means that your $200 turned into $175 because your eHex is now 50 and your hex is now 125. So at this point, you have a few options. You can either keep DCAing into both. You could convert and DCA only into one, or you could like go pHex side or you go eHex side. The question now is, you pretty much lost $25 of value, which is close to about a little over 10%. If you sell. However, also to look at this in the long term, you got to ask yourself, where do you think the gains are going to go? Do you think that they're each going to see the exact amount of X's throughout the rest of this bull run or throughout whatever time frame you're looking at? Or do you think that one of these is going to outperform the other? So one of the things going on right now is that we had a massive sell-off, which means that A, there's less people and money on the eHex side, and there's more money and people on the hex side now. So with that being said, it's possible that it's going to take a lot more movement to get hex to pump versus eHex has now kind of become a low liquidity token, so to speak, because it's now the smaller, shallower of the pool, and the price is also lower as of right now. I don't have the official data of like how many wallets are active or what the holders looks like right now. However, I'll say this. Everything that was on eHex previously did get copied over to PulseChain, which means we know for a fact it's at least at parity. What's happened in the year since then, we're going to have to look into research and find out. But for a 50-50 person, you lost some value today. It's kind of a bummer to say. However, we are in pretty much the lead up to the bull run or just the straight up bull run right now. So, question to you guys, do you think that eHex is going to outpace Hex, or do you think Hex is going to outpace eHex?
This is well, so let's take a calculated look here. So we've got a billionaire who likes to buy things, and he likes to tell us that he likes to buy things. Do we think that there are people with more money than the billionaire that want to buy the thing other than the billionaire wants to buy? Or it's like, would you buy Hex or would you buy Illuvium? Would you buy Hex or would you buy Bitcoin? Would you buy Hex or would you buy, I don't know, bubbly sparkling waters? Would you buy this thing or that thing? Nate, remember when we were talking about fucking bulldozers and ice cream and how some things are better investments than other things? If you go and buy bulldozers and you put it to work, you make a lot more money than if you buy ice cream and you let it sit out in the sun, you know? But if you're in front of a starving crowd and not on a construction site, then you want to buy the ice cream. You don't want to buy the bulldozer. So it's like there's different things to buy for different reasons, and all sorts of like there's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. And at the end of the day, like we can only know so much. And like what Ramon had said earlier in the chat. I don't know. Let me pull it up here, or I can't pull it up. But Mrs. McGettit started it for us. Ramon Carrillo had said that the best move is to listen to RH. He just told you what to do. Red candle, green candle, doesn't matter. He just told you he'll no longer support eHex. Betting against the OA is a bad idea, period. Bad idea. So like, I don't agree with you 100%, Ramon, about like betting against the OA being a bad idea. I just think it's a different idea. It's a different tool. You know, the phrase of like bad and good is all subjective and whatever, based on whatever your tools are. If you're measuring your success in the bull market based on how much you can front run Richard Hart and how much of like the things that he's going to buy, you buy first, right? Then yes, I would agree with you. If you're somebody who's like, man, I really think that Illuvium's going to do better than everything else, then, you know, go buy that. If you really think that bubbly sparkling water is going to do better than all that stuff, then, you know, go buy that, right? Like we all have all these like these thoughts and these imaginations and these understandings of these things that we think are going to work and things that are going to be successful. And one thing that we know is consistent is there's a dude out there with billions of dollars who talks about what he's going to do, and then he goes and he does it. And there is a predictable framework in there. Like if you know that X plus Y equals Z, and you want Z, and you've got X and Y, you can add them together, you can subtract them. It's like, you know, the choice is yours. Follow the path that you wish. But like if you've got a consistent set of variables that produce results that are like predictable, then hey, follow the plan that suits your goals best, and adapt whenever changes come. You know.
Well, you had two really good. You
Go
got
ahead.
two really good points there I want to tap in on.
Yeah.
First one is based on what you just said there in Ramon's comment is it sounds like you imagine that Hex is going to outpace eHex because that is the one that the OA address is going to be backing and the billionaire who does stuff is going to be backing. And that makes complete and total sense. Pretty much if you look at it right now, you would need eHex to any additional money that you put in from here. You would effectively need eHex to more than double whatever X is the regular Hex is going to do in order for that to be mathematically worth it.
Yep.
So that's the answer to that question. However, the other one you kind of put out there was the idea of ice cream versus bulldozers. It's the idea of the thing that you can enjoy versus the thing that you can put to work for you to make you more money. Previously, eHex has been Hex's the code itself was designed to allow people to stake money themselves, make a contract with themselves in order to earn interest and yield on it later on. One of the things that is driving this whole narrative right now and what's going on is the gas fees. If the gas fees are too high, it means that eHex stops being a bulldozer and becomes the ice cream, while pHex remains the bulldozer. It's the way that you can keep making money. So if you are interested in the staking, it would absolutely make sense, in my opinion, to maybe cut some losses and get into more heavy staking on pHex. But odds are, if you're that person, then you're probably a little heavier on pHex to begin with. But this might just be the final time to, as Will's pointing out there, go Quattro Cinco and really get after it. Because PulseChain was invented to help people make those decisions and go Quattro Cinco and really reap the benefits of it and not pay the tax of the Ethereum gas fee. Nate, I know I did a lot of talking there. What you got?
No, I think everything you said. I think you kind of beat it up pretty good there. So, yeah, not much more as of right now. Simply, I mean, he has been giving warnings, right? You know, people, for anybody who at this point is not seeing this as him shaking you, saying, "Get the fuck out of eHex," right? Like I said, a scratcher is a lottery ticket. You throw in just a little bit of money and say, "All right, let's see where this is going to go." That's literally what you do with it, you know.
For sure. It feels kind of weird to refer to eHex as a scratcher now because, like, technically there is still some functionality to it. However, at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, it almost feels like the PDI situation, which is that PDI was the kind of useless fork of the stablecoin that a lot of people already had. And now there's that pipe dream of getting it to peg to $1. I think it's at like 0 or like 5 zeros and some change or something. Yeah, so that would be a 10,000x for that pretty much.
So I got one last thing to go on as well, because I'm seeing a few comments about this. So one of the biggest issues that has been happening is eHex or pHex. What do you think price prediction is on them? And Jeff was just talking to me today about, or it was yesterday, actually, last night, about it. And well, I mean, it's not exactly beating a dead horse here, but anyway, so the price predictions, okay? Price predictions about eHex and pHex. I've been telling people for a while now, okay? It's combined hex. Hex is one thing, okay? It doesn't matter if pHex goes to $1.60 and eHex, just hits 50 cents. It doesn't matter. Combined, what do they equal? And so whenever anybody is sitting here telling you, oh, this could go to that and that could go to that, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Just take all of your hex together, count them all up, and there you go. And then think, okay, what is hex going to be at? Okay, so guys, don't worry about price predictions or anything like that. If you are going to do that, just combine them together, okay? Easy peasy.
The combined price is an interesting idea because this is something we've talked about previously, which is that because the PulseChain launch effectively did the stock split, means that to wrap your head around what the possibility for hex is going to be, you have to put both those together and then come up with that number as one number, and then whatever the ratio between those two is, that's going to determine the individual prices. And that talks about the ratio, and now the ratio has drastically changed today. So I don't know, depending on how much farther the ratio changes, that's going to determine how much of the combined price is eaten up by each of the individual ones. All right, time to get back to the comments.
Ooh.
All right. I do have a starred one from Moonpilled Rational Optics. Can we pull that up? And then he had a follow-up that I want to get to. He says, with these changes, how do you think this will affect Charlie and Miguel's price predictions? The follow-up was that the previous prediction was that eHex is roughly going to be about 125 and pHex is going to be about 150. So looking at that, that is a 1-to-1 ratio. Pretty close to it as it is. But I think it's technically a 5-to-6 ratio. How about that? We're at 5-to-1 right now with eHex to pHex last time I checked, which means that there's going to be some drastic changes to get back to that prediction. I think that prediction is probably honestly going to change. Everybody should tune in to the Moon Gang episode that's tonight at some point. I don't know when. Again, tune in for maybe that question, or if you just want to find some other people to bounce ideas off of. Community's good at this time for sure. But as far as price predictions, it sounds like well, if we're at 5-to-1, we'll put it this way. If you think the combined price of Hex is going to get to about $2.50, and that means that eHex is going to end up at about 50 or like 40 cents, and pHex will be about $2.10. So how about that? Any comments on that?
I don't think I really care.
That's also a perfectly reasonable answer.
The only thing I'm looking at is Hex, both of them together, going to equal about $2? Is it going to equal out about $5? It's so much simpler math. The only thing you're going to be looking at is, well, is eHex going to perform better than pHex, or is pHex going to perform better than eHex? Again, I think, and it's almost been confirmed at this point, pHex has to perform better because it's on PulseChain, and because Richard Hart is talking about how he needs it on. He wants everything on PulseChain. Okay, eHex is a scratcher bet at best. And the theory off of that is simple pump and dump, right? You're going to have whales on Ethereum just playing around with it. And then not only that, but when retail does start coming in, they're all going to be on Ethereum. And they're going to be like, oh, look at that Hex thing over there in PulseChain. Oh, I think this is it right here. And they're going to buy it on Ethereum. That's literally all it's got going for it. But it doesn't have the billionaire backing it anymore. So think about that, guys.
Go for it, Will.
I was just gonna. Well, it's another derail, which I've been shamed against derailing. I just wanted to congratulate Tam and Antoine for being the two winners for Telegram Premium today. If you guys aren't already in our t.me/dgen book club, that's the book club where I'm one of the admins, and because there's so few people in there, like there's a really high percentage point if I do a random Telegram Premium giveaway that you guys got a really high chance of getting a free 3 months of Telegram Premium, which allows you to react with 3 emojis, and also you can download custom emojis. And because our group has had so many cool little boosts and giveaways and things, that Telegram now allows me to add custom emojis, so everyone can react with the DGen Roundtable custom emojis that I've uploaded and put in there. So in the it's we're having fun in the DGen book club, Telegram. So congratulations to Tam and congratulations to Antoine. Make sure you guys join up with our DGen book club Telegram and talk about books and talk about nerd stuff and suggest new books to us and everything. Zenith, what did you say the next book is for book club? Go ahead.
I would like to do Poor Richard's Retirement. As you can tell, it's not too thick, so I appreciate that, especially considering Excellent. I have the paper version and also double spaced, pretty good big font. So you know what?
Hell yeah.
Shouldn't be too heavy of a read. And the reason I wanted to cover this one is I think Aaron Clary is an older guy that kind of understands where the future is heading when it comes to the monetary system, which is that he's even a proponent of some sort of cryptocurrency himself, but that's more of like an emergency fund or a rainy day fund in line with like precious metals like silver or gold.
Yeah.
I think the advice that he usually gives people is try to get 1 Bitcoin for your rainy day savings. That advice sounds very different depending on which part of the 4-year cycle you're in, but yes. I understand the reasoning behind it. The guy's a bit of a minimalist, so that is his kind of take on life as well, which is cut out all the nonsense, find a way to save effectively and properly. Don't spend all your money now on trying to keep up with the Joneses per se. Cut costs a bit so that you're not relying on your kids to keep you off the streets in the future.
Hell yeah!
Oh man, we got a lot of comments here coming on. So thank you everybody. Yes. Yeah, thank you everybody for getting them. I'm going to cover Yellowtails. I think you had a good little comment here. Yeah, you have no enemies. The enemy is yourself. This is true. This is kind of one of the underlying points of the stream today, which is that you can be your own worst enemy. Will, what you got? I can see it in you.
That's Torfin. Torfin, I believe, from the Vagabond. I want to say it's Vagabond. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Yellowtail, but you're absolutely right. You have no enemies except for the better version of yourself who you're trying to beat every single day. So excellent. Oh, Moonpill has read the book. Outstanding.
Yeah. All right, I'll leave it up to Moonpill. Is this the correct book for this week, or should I go find another one? I actually won a book when I was at the PulseChain tour. It was during a raffle. Looking back, I did it to try to not just immediately scoop up the best prize, which was probably 1 million Pulse, which actually went to Will's brother Sam. But instead, I got The Power of Hex. So maybe there's some secrets in here that I haven't quite figured out, and we could all learn from. So that's what I got.
There is one more question, and I believe that Moonpill is referring to the Telegram Premium giveaway that I'm doing in the chats. It's basically just an it's a random number draw for all of the people that are inside our book club's Telegram. So unsubscribing and resubscribing isn't gonna make you any more likely or any less likely to it. Actually, it will make you less likely if I happen to do one while you are not subscribed to our little Telegram giveaway. This has nothing to do with YouTube. This is all I'm doing this all in Telegram, and I'm having difficulty with credit card stuff. So for whatever reason, I can't use the same credit card or debit card twice, and so I've been having to upload different credit cards every time I do a new giveaway. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, and when I figure out how to conquer that problem, I will likely do this more often. But it's just a fun little giveaway. So that is what that's what that's all about. Damn. Yep. No way to boost your odds. Mrs. Producer, Mrs. McGettit was also super excited to potentially get Telegram Premium. It's not very expensive, guys. If you want to go buy Telegram Premium, it's $30 a year. You know, they discount it like X, Y, and Z %. I want to say if you buy 1 month, then it's like $5 or something. And if you buy all 12 months, then it's $30 or I don't know. It's super cheap, and basically it allows you to just have custom emojis and do multiple reactions to everything. And you can have a special emoji after your name. So it says Will Stevenson, then it's got the little cross swords. You guys can have normal emojis and stuff, but when you're a Telegram user, then you could put a little custom emoji in there, and it's kind of neat. So I put the little DGen Roundtable logo in as the It's normally like a blue star or something for Telegram premium users, but you can switch it out. So enough about Telegram. Let's get back to Richard Hart tweeting.
All right, we got a comment from thanks Moon Build. He says, poor Richard's retirement is a good one. It gets dark at one point, so fair warning. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind when we're reading this. Alrighty, comment from PulseX, or PulseX, if you say it real quick. We got eHex could get a rage ramp from the influencer class like Rand's crew and Ivan if they might be trapped. Yeah, I mean, we covered this a few weeks ago. There's even like dead coins that are possibly coming back, like Terra, Luna, and FTX coin. It's as if you have enough liquidity.
I've been talking about that one. It's the dark horse.
Yeah, if you have enough liquidity and enough buying power, you can crank dead tokens. But just understand, there's no use case for it at that point. It's all just the musical chairs game. Also, we have Vets in Crypto stopping by. Good to see you, brother. I had a great time hanging out with you in person this weekend. It was a blast. He says, bang, bang, I am an equal hex opportunity buyer. Yeah, I got to say, as far as buying opportunity goes, if you've been an eHex guy, now's a good time to get in. And is eHex a meme? It's a meme now, but the question
everything's
is...
a fucking meme. Bitcoin's a meme, you silly gooses. It's ones and zeros on the internet. For fuck's sake. This stream is a meme. Like, this isn't real. We're coming through not the airwaves. We're coming through the fiber optic waves that, run underneath your houses and everything. None of this is real. This is all just like, it's a screen. It's fake. Go touch grass. Come on now, you guys.
What is reality? This is all a simulation. It's all a simulation.
Shout out to Danny Boy saying, this was a mind-blown moment. Never thought Richard Hart was going to choose a side. Boy, was I wrong. Well, I mean, he did post that video today telling us that he's been picking a side all along. I mean, I'm sure he hopes that everything is valuable and goes to the moon, but he was saying that odds-on favorite has been p-hex from the beginning.
I do want to point out that I am wearing my my Minecraft Creeper Explosive shirt today.
Hell yeah.
Because it was so explosive and everything going on. And I was just like, yeah, I'm putting this on, baby. Let's go.
Vets has got a great point, though. He says he likes expensive hex on all chains, and we all do, because hex going up is good for every one of us, although it's not good for people that got out. But if they got out, well, sorry, bud.
Sucks.
Bradley
Glad I
Langan
was
also
today.
Yeah. Bradley Langang approves of the six-sided geometry. Is that six-sided geometry of no matter what chain or any specific one? I was going to say, there's a lot of other six-sided geometry, whether it's like Texan Token, Hedron, Icosa. I would not be surprised if we saw a few more hex derivatives come out, because I bet you there's room for it. There's probably a use case that we just haven't thought of yet.
Alrighty. Well, I did have one thing I wanted to talk about before we go to wrap up and all that.
Absolutely. What you got?
So as of right now, I need everybody to pay attention here. Okay. So the billionaire who had created a project and created an L1 and created a bunch of things, right, has said, I am going to go this direction. All right. Now, he's kind of been asking, he's been hinting at, would you please follow me? Because I want to go this way. Now, he's literally yelling at people, I am going this direction, follow me or not. So now, what we need to do is we need to start looking into what he is yelling at us about. And we have two choices. We can either go our own direction doing whatever, okay, or we can listen and we can start following along, okay? So be careful when you start getting all these influencers saying, oh no, eHex is coming back. eHex is the way, the life, the truth, and the life, right? you need to be careful with influencers doing these types of things. Paul Sachs said that maybe there's going to be a rage bump. Maybe there will be. That's why you throw a scratcher at it, okay? A small amount of money. But people need to understand it's over, okay? The man who built it has now confirmed that he is no longer playing with it, okay? He built something else now that's much better. He transferred the spirit of his original project, his baby, over to PulseChain, and now that's where his baby is living, all right? He wants to go over there. He has told you this. So guys, be careful with how you move. We're going to win.
Fair. I will say this. I think it was Marcelo. I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong, brother. I know we talked about your comment and beat it up a little bit earlier, but I think you might have a point when you're saying that it feels like the gas narrative might be bullshit. However, I think it's a very real narrative right now. But even if the gas narrative is solved on Ethereum, it doesn't change the fact that we have been trying to do something and have been unable to do it. So just in case the ETH gas fee does get fixed, like Nate's talking about now, I think this is kind of the ship sailing on that one, and it's going to be the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. Again, I like the Maximus tokens. I'm going to keep holding them as my meme coin, hoping that the yield I get over there keeps generating, and maybe one day, if the gas fee is fixed so much that eHex pumps nicely, I'll make a good return on my scratcher bet. But until then, I think, Nate, you got a very good point. And then I do have one last point myself I want to make before we get out of here. And this
I got one last thing on the gas too. Okay, this is extremely quick.
Go for it.
Okay, if Ethereum fixes the gas problem, it also cheapens PulseChain's gas. Okay, it's a direct fork.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
It'll
direct
alleviate
fork. So
pressure.
anything that they do, we can do as well. It's literally just copied over. All right. So again, even if you're paying like $1 over in Ethereum at one point, well, then you're gonna be paying like nothing. Everything's gonna be basically free on PulseChain.
Bro, back to day one Pulse swap prices of like 0.002 Pulse per transaction. I still got screenshots, man.
Those were the
It was
days.
awesome.
Yeah. So my final point here is something that Will and I bet vets in crypto are familiar with, and it's the saying of one team, one fight. We are all Hexkins together. Fighting amongst ourselves is not going to do us any good, especially when everyone and their mother that has hated on Hex previously is probably going to be picking up with this and trying to dunk on us right now. So we have had our differences in the past with the whole eHex, pHex debate thing back in the PulseChain launch days. However, if there ever was a time to have everybody, one team, doing the same fight, it's right now, I'd argue. Because we're trying to get the last people on the arc that we possibly can before this bull market takes off in full swing and people start getting left behind. So talk to each other. Don't fight with each other. Remember, we're all in this together, and we are all going to make it. Don't fumble the bag. That's the reason we did the stream today, is don't get emotional and fumble the bag, and understand that we still are going in the right direction. So that's what I got. Let's start the wrap up, unless we have any final stuff to talk about today. Will, do you want to lead us off?
I will lead us off in the wrap up. My name is Will Stevenson. You guys can find me.
There you go, folks. We do it live.
Will's got.
I did it again. I hit the wrong tab.
Will, why do you keep pushing that button, bro?
Because like for some reason I think that I can just click on my links and things and it'll just pull up, not knowing that like I'm not remembering that I'm in a link right now. Like I'm in a tab, and so I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna click this link, that link, blah blah. So, anyways, my name is Will Stevenson. You guys can find everything that I do at linktree/Will Stevenson. It's right down there in the chat. Some other things that I do is I hang out with these gentlemen. We do book clubs, we do meetups, we do streams, all sorts of stuff. You can find those in the little description right here. This is the book club one where I've been giving away some Telegram Premium, and this is the Hex Meetup Telegram that I made. So if you want to meet other Hexicans and you don't want to wait for PulseChain Tour, or you want to like just go out and get some beers and throw some axes and be like, hey, is there anybody in St. Louis, or is there anybody over in, I don't know, Waxahachie, or is there anyone in Portland, Oregon, or blah, 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 blah. You guys can find other Hexicans that are in the areas near you. The more people that join the Hex Meetup place and the more people that do things in there, the more power it will have. So far, I think I've done the only meetup there. And basically I just said, hey guys, I'm going to a bar. And then people drove like 5 hours to come hang out with me, like as I went to a bar. So it was super awesome. Met a lot of cool people, did a lot of great stuff. So anyways, go meet Hexicans, join our Telegram. and you can find me at that link. Mr. Nate, what's going on with you, my brother?
Yeah, absolutely. Join the Telegram right there. Yeah, Telegram exclusive, right? When things like this happen, we get on immediately and we try and help out as many people as possible. There was a lot of action going on today, obviously, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that was saved. I see that Vets in Crypto here. He was talking about how RH, kind of probably realized that there was a diversification or a dilution problem in the ecosystem. With what you were saying there, Zenith, that is exactly what ended up happening, right? People were sitting there arguing with each other, which one is better, which one is better. I want people to realize that the best way to view this is that he's taken his baby, okay, and he's moved it over to PulseChain. That's where it's at now. Okay. In his mind, he's thinking, hey, this is the home. This is the home that I've built for my child, right? So if you abandon eHex, it is okay. All right, because it's over there now. I'm just saying. All right.
We'll find out.
Saying. We will find out though. So yeah, you can go ahead and I got my link tree down here. All my stuff is in there. I'm doing consults. There's a lot of people who are either getting left behind in the bull market right now or just don't know what to do or worried that their portfolio allocation is not proper and correct. It's just they've been wanting to ask me a few questions, see how everything is going, if they're going the right direction. Go ahead, get into one of those consults. I'm like booked out just about every single day now. And I'm only going to do one a day. In very rare situations will I have two. So if you're lucky enough to get that second slot, good on you. So otherwise, yeah, go ahead, hit me up there. Yeah, Zenith, what's up?
I have a lot of recapping to do in the near coming future about everything that happened in Las Vegas this last weekend. It was an absolute blast. And by the way, shout out to RG3. In very pirate fashion, he was handing out doubloons. So I now am part of the pirate gang and the pirate crew. So we'll be covering everything that went on there. I got a ton of swag. I met a bunch of friends and we got a chance to talk to a lot of people making cool projects. And I am hoping to get as many of them on the channel as I possibly can. So speaking of what's going on with the channel, we have a very special stream coming up on Wednesday. We have Axis, Rags to Riches, and Christy Man all coming on with Josh and myself to do a little bit of recap from PulseChain Tour, and then to also talk about what's going on macroeconomically in the Hex world. I would bet money that we're going to cover this topic again then, at least a little bit. But that is a star-studded cast, and I cannot wait to talk to those guys. I had a chance to meet all of them except Rags this trip, and everybody could not be more jazzed about what's going on right now, and we're going to have a great year. I am Zenith. You can find me at ZenithDI on a lot of the stuff, including my Linktree. If you go to Linktree/ZenithDI, you can find links to all my channels, additionally, as well as the meme channel that I run, which is Hexco Space Force. We posted some stuff there today because there was definitely memeable news. And that's what we got. That is all I got. Tune in for stream on Wednesday, book club on Friday, and we're going to come back with another flagship episode next Sunday. So until then, everybody, keep a level head and remember to degen responsibly.